Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast with Dr. John O'Connor. Today's podcast is all about seizing the moment. This week, I am beyond excited to be traveling out to Arizona to meet with Andy Elliott and his team to see how they operate, their culture, the Lions Den, and everything about them. With regards to my why in attending, we had recently launched a consulting business that's about 2 years old, and we have really began to catch fire over the last few months. The company that I work with, MedRay Laser and Technology, has, really honed in on taking advantage of my ability to coach, motivate, and get our doctors that are buying products to come on board with our training and coaching. The one thing that I realized is that you need to be sharp, razor sharp. And, that I said to myself, I want to go to the best of the best. And I think Andy Elliott and I really resonate with regards to fitness and, just how he coaches his mantras, his commitment to just, team and focus. And I've been talking to one of his guys at work within his corporation, and I believe all of their screensavers are the same thing. And it's basically like the AE 10 commandments of, their business, their philosophy, and how they execute. And that's definitely something with regards to like my morning mantras and discipline and whatnot, and what I do. But probably the biggest eye opener for me was the tie-in that, my mom and dad, have obviously been battling health issues for the last, couple of years. And my mom most recently with cancer. And today I went with them for my mom's chemotherapy treatment. And so they were there, and she was already, in mid-treatment when I arrived. And of course, getting there, you could just feel the shift in the energy, and you see the people that are new and they're completely full of hope. And then you see people that are really dug in and they're fighting, and all ages. And when I came into the room and sat down, it was such a classic moment for my mom to, essentially, have one of the nurses come up and go, "Oh my goodness, she talks about you all the time." And it really hit home. At 50 years old, she still refers to me as her baby. And, obviously that's a special place that a son and a mom have. And, I think for me, it just really brought family value to a next level, because navigating the space with both of them and having to, walk my dad around to get him where he has to go, it just put everything in perspective with regards to how important it is to capture and seize the moment, because of how fast life can really change. And I saw a huge shift, and that shift was all about being grateful for the opportunity that is in front of me. I used to reflect on a lot of things that would happen, and then I would mess up or take advantage of it or not appreciate it, or didn't realize the importance of what was going on. This week really hit home for me, and I am beyond excited to get out there and see a team operate and see a team function. They're at capacity. I believe there's 500 people coming into this seminar coaching event. And I don't like to refer to it as a coaching event with somebody like an Andy Elliott, because the reality is that it's action packed. They're coaching. They're part of it is working out, their culture, how they eat, how they take care of their bodies. And that's something that resonates with me. That's something that, from my morning routine to how I work out, how I eat, how I treat and communicate with my patients, I think that, that's something that I can really get behind. And when I was talking to my business partners with regards to MedRay Laser and Technology, I had told them that I said, when I get out there, I'm coming back. If you thought I was energized before, I'm coming back with an entirely new sense of urgency to really be able to not, people say sell. I don't think it has anything to do with selling. I think it's about identifying what the problem is and then giving them a solution and then giving them an action plan and showing them how to conquer what it is that's upsetting them within their life, which is their business. And that's something that means a lot to me, because when I look back on my coaching career in sports, I always prided myself on delivering athletes that were very well-rounded, that could handle themselves. And for the most part, most of them were exceptional students. So they were balanced as student athletes. Switching gears at about 47, 48 years old, now 50, now I look at these people as business athletes. And some of them, quite frankly, are just not healthy. And when they get to me, one of the biggest things that I love about working with a small company is I'm very honest with the owners. And I'm like, hey guys, let's not harp on how valuable our laser is or how valuable our shockwave is. That really has no bearing to them. What they're thinking is, how can this change my current situation? How can this help me get to where I want to go? And if I can be the bridge that connects those questions with answers and reinforcement, then I know I'm providing a service that is beyond, their wildest imagination, because they got themselves in a situation they feel desperate. And that's where we come in. So, again, it's not about feeding on, the fact that they're not getting it done. It's about empowering them to show them this is how you get it done. This is the science behind it. And it's an amazing thing. But again, back to why I think this week for me is really almost like my New Year's or John O'Connor 3.0, is that this consulting thing is really something that I want to pursue. I love my clinical practice. Don't worry, guys, if you're listening to this, doc's not going anywhere. I'm going to be treating patients, but I absolutely love helping practitioners around the country. I love the fact that they are, all amped up and juiced up about the fact that I'm pushing them at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, getting them going. And I want to have, 200-300 clients by the end of the year in my, monthly coaching groups, where I come in and I do the boot camp for, 2 times a week for 4 weeks and get them up and running. And one of the amazing things is, that 4 weeks, I had to frame that to my brain like preseason, right? Preseason basketball, preseason baseball. And it's so important to me to make sure that their mind and body is ready, so they understand how to communicate the message, be energetic with the message, be compassionate, and really just wow their current patients and be prepared to educate their new patients to get the job done. So, where does that all go for me? I couldn't believe that I had made such a shift. And I was talking to one of my good friends that I work with, and we actually do similar things for different companies. And I had said to him, I could easily see myself doing this as a full-time push, because I am beyond inspired and motivated to help as many practices as I can across the country, across the globe for that matter, really elevate what they do and expand their reach in being able to help their patient population, the ones they have, the existing population, and of course, reaching out to new ones. So, I think that's something for me that gives me a greater purpose than what I once thought was my why, if you will. So, again, as much as it was a little surreal to, be at the chemotherapy treatment center today, I was thinking about a recent podcast I did with an awesome human who's a cancer survivor, Jojo Lane, absolutely warrior, awesome lady. And I almost reached out to her today because I took a selfie with my mom and had sent it to the family. And, it took me a deep breath and a leg pinch to keep me from getting a little tear, because, you can't help but wonder, is this the last fight? Is this going to get her? And you don't want to think that way, but, obviously in healthcare, you always have to say that's an obvious risk. But I think coming out of it today, it was awesome to be there. It was awesome to be able to take my coat off and warm her up and lean in and give her a kiss on the head and and listen to the nurses interact with her and see them say what an amazing spirit and fighter she is. And I think that when I think about all my ailments and illnesses and everything that I've gotten over and overcame, a huge part of that was her, and not to not shine the same light on my dad. It's rough seeing your parents get older. And, I've seen this conversation, having with patients for so many years, but it's an entirely different feel when it's your parents. And, one of the things that I realize now, it's like walking that fine line. Like my dad had came in from outside, and I think that every family has their dynamic, and forever, my dad was the run around and get everything done for him and my mom and the family, et cetera. And now with the emphysema, which is a restrictive airway disease, he struggles with doing, common tasks, even talking while moving. And so he was sitting there, and I had to turn in the mediator because, my mom's a bit like Marie Barone. So she's nudging him to go get something done. And, he was struggling to catch his breath. And so it was nice to be there and, go from child to parent a little bit and get them to my mom to dote on me and focus on me and give my dad a few minutes to catch his breath before the next task came to be. But again, I still think this all circles back to one thing. Guys, what the time we have, that dash from your start date to your end date, it is amazing how fast I got to 50. And when I was sitting there today, I had said to myself, I won't miss a minute, a second, a week, a month, a year again, because just like that, you could be out of the game. And not only do I want to be in the game, I want to be the Michael Jordan of what I do. And, I want to be the best. I want to be the GOAT. And I think that motivation that I got today in, a very surreal setting was, take advantage of the moment, be so thankful that you're healthy and that you could show up and you could do what you're doing. And when I get to Andy Elliott, whatever that opportunity looks like, I'm excited. I'm excited to shake his hand. I'm excited to see somebody at that level to say, hey, listen, just like when you were kids and you wanted to swing the bat like Reggie Jackson or, Derek Jeter, or you wanted to be a hockey player or, do a pull, a turnaround jump shot like Michael Jordan or Kobe. It's practice and repetition. So I see somebody like him or any of these amazing coaches, and I'm inspired to be like, you know what? One more rep. I got this, and not only that, the biggest thing that I enjoy is by injecting, my clients with that supercharged motivation, knowledge, focus, and discipline. I see how they respond. Probably one of the first, text responses I'll get from a new client is, thank you so much for being so energized and focused and on top of your stuff. It really is motivating me in this area because it's new to me. And most, people get intimidated by new things. And so I think if I can, supercharge their confidence by, giving them reinforcement and training and support, and just being there for them, I think it helps them get the job done that much faster. So, closing out today's podcast, today was short and sweet. I wanted to just really hit on the fact that life is a gift. It is so important that we take advantage of these, of every opportunity that we have. I know that I feel blessed to be reinvesting in myself, and my family, taking Jessica out to Arizona with me and going to Andy Elliott and seeing him and his wife speak and the rest of the team. I think that's something that's amazing. As business owners and entrepreneurs, we have, 3 companies now, a 4th one's coming. My feeling is that if I want to elevate, then I have to educate. And I have to continue to not only be disciplined, but I have to receive motivation from other people that have done it. And then, it's up to me to emulate and replicate what they've done and bring it in my pathway. And then the one thing that I promised myself when I was talking about today's podcast is to pay that forward and help others do the same thing. That was one of the first things that I'd said to my coaching team was, the first couple rounds of doctors that I get to be successful, I'm going right at them for their region to be coaches underneath me to be able to spread this and help other doctors that are struggling. So at any rate, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed and found value in it. I think that whenever you can relate business, life, family, living, the importance and power of being appreciative of living, and also having respect for, how scary it is when people are fighting for their life. I think that is an empowering and, just, I think a jaw-dropping experience for all of us. And I'm learning so much from where I am in my space, and just happy to share this message with you guys today. So again, like, share, follow us on social media. We'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.